Welcome to the Thermal Club, California, USA. We're on day 2 of Ferrari Challenge North America 2026. We had a pair of races yesterday with qualifying in the morning, and we're going to do the same again today. So qualifying right now, coming up for all 4 of our classes, and then later on today we have another race for each of them in our double-header weekend. We are starting the season here at the Thermal Club, as we said, for round number 1. We can take a look at where we're going to head for the rest of the season. Okay, so after the Thermal Club, we're going to head east. We're going to head across to Florida. We're going to be going to Sebring, which will be very nice indeed. Then it's COTA, Circuit of the Americas. After COTA, I think we head down to Laguna Seca. After Laguna Seca, then we're heading to Sonoma, and finally we finish the season at Road America. Digging deep into the memory bank there to bring up the calendar, but we're all good. So yeah, it's going to be a fantastic season. My name's Andrew Coley. Alongside me is Tony Verlander. Tony, yesterday was interesting. Some great racing, but also I think some slightly questionable decision making and race control, and the stewards have been quite clear this morning. Tidy it up, guys. It's round 1. Chill out.
Yeah, exactly. There were some issues at the actual race starts, and then some other situations after the safety car. So the behavior was a bit too aggressive towards the end of the races, and yeah, not often mentioned, but I think the race director and the stewards, they also have a little responsibility to make the drivers feel safe. They need to be the protectors, the guardian angels there to follow the actions on track, and there needs to be hard racing but fair.
Yeah, exactly. So good decision. You know, that yes, these guys are successful guys. They're racing nice, expensive race cars. It's not stock car racing. You know, you don't want unnecessary bills. It's not that kind of series.
Yeah, and we mentioned a few times that safety cars often bring more action or even more safety cars. So this was the case yesterday towards the end of the 30-minute race when we had the safety car out and you're racing 4 or 5 minutes to go, then the aggression level just goes higher. Drivers may be a little bit tired, tires worn out, and that's a combination of then things get a little bit out of control.
Yeah, they did indeed. And hopefully it will be a bit of a steadier day today. I'm sure it will be during qualifying. We had one incident yesterday during qualifying. Longer qualifying sessions, it should be a good morning. Down in the pit lane, where I'm sure it's baking hot already, is Nina J. Paul.
Intense day 1 yesterday. We are ready to do it all over again today. So in terms of qualifying, we saw yesterday during the race the drivers had to be really precise when overtaking, and mistakes proved costly, and not just costly on track, costly in terms of penalties. So qualifying, having a good qualifying will be absolutely imperative for track positions. Our drivers got a good feel of the track yesterday in terms of conditions. Today will be much of the same, just as warm, if not a little bit warmer. I must say yesterday's quali was a little bit cooler, so getting those tyres in the perfect window will be absolutely critical. I'm excited to see who comes out on top.
Thank you, Nina Jade. Down there all smiles. She'll be finding an umbrella as soon as she possibly can, I am sure, because it is hot, hot, hot here in California. Ed Vartugian down on the grid, getting himself ready to head out at the Thermal Club. Let's take a look at the track layout. So down to turn 1, which is a hairpin left, then you've got the right-hander at 2. It's a very technical circuit. Those very long carousel corners with Tony, which are really hard on the tyres, but I think the key sequence yesterday was 10 through 14.
Yes, exactly. You need to ride those curves, have a good solid line through that sequence of corners. If you lose one apex, one inside curb, then you're out of sequence and you lose the whole rhythm of the next corners. And there were also some overtaking maneuvers done into 14 because of that. So technical track, special character is the very long radius corners where you battle the understeer mid to exit a bit. And with the tire wear in the race, then this neutral car becomes a bit oversteering. So not an easy track. It's quite flat, though through the S's there's a little bit of elevation, but it's very smooth, very solid, and typical, let's say, similar to Laguna Seca, where you have a lot of gravel, a lot of dirt and dust outside the racing line and outside the track itself. So we saw some really thick clouds of dust when cars were going off yesterday.
And I think during qualifying, one thing we saw yesterday, the one corner they particularly run off on is turn 17, the last right-hander onto the straight. So in racing yesterday, people were on the gravel more because of mistakes made with passes and stuff. But in quali, a lot of people ran onto the dirt on 17, which is the last corner onto the start-finish. Either at the end of their lap, trying to get a good lap, or at the start of their lap, trying to get that speed. Luckily, they don't seem to drag too much dirt onto the track there, at least.
Yeah, the natural racing line takes you to all the way far left, and you use that exit curb. And Roberto Berina got us a little bit scared using that dirt and cut the car sideways, almost the noise pointing to the inside wall. Yesterday, laps 2 to 4 were between 2 and 4 were the best flyers. So expecting very similar progress on these qualifying sessions as the track conditions remain pretty identical to yesterday.
So you're looking at Melissa Kozira there in the blue car, and also Blake Rosser. Blake Rosser was our winner yesterday in Shell Am. Melissa Kozira, I saw her literally just a few minutes ago. She got the whole shot, went right up the inside. She was super excited to get up the inside, but said the corner didn't go according to plan, and so she dropped back down. But I said to her, you had a brilliant finish to the season last year. You know, to win both rounds at Mugello is outstanding. And I said, are you up for the title this year? And she said, I think I've got to aim for it. And I think that's fair.
Yeah, if you win in Mugello, you have the skills and you can win basically everywhere, all the racetracks included around the world. What sometimes drivers do forget is consistency. If you get caught in a one single moment, that may refine your whole championship. So last year we saw drivers being super consistent, and also the points system is done in a way that there's not a huge gap between places.
Yeah.
But if you get a DNF, that's when you really
lose big points. Yes. We saw that last year, didn't we, in the championships, where if someone had one bad weekend, it could take them quite a time to catch up again.
Exactly.
And ironically, when they go to Mugello and there are less drivers, of course, if you have a bad weekend there, you kind of got to go there in a solid place, because a bad weekend there is only probably P7 or P8, so you still get good points. So it's hard to make up points at Mugello. You need to be going into that final round, or at Mugello last year. It's actually Barcelona this year, isn't it, for the Finale Mondiale in Spain. Great to see it travelling around a bit, and it goes somewhere different, I believe, every year, Tony, the Mondiale.
Yeah, it varies a bit. We have few locations in Italy, Imola, Mugello. I've been to finals in Valencia. I've been to finals in Daytona as well.
Yeah, cool.
And this year the finals are in Barcelona, so expecting a very, very interesting event. Beautiful racetrack. There's a lot of space for the teams and Ferrari to set up a beautiful, let's say a week. It's almost a week of racing and week of seeing beautiful cars around Finale Mondiale event.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. If you fancy going to that one, it's very easy to travel to Barcelona, and it's only around an hour from the airport by car. I think you can get the train and the bus and stuff to the circuit as well. But it's I'd say take a car for Finale Mondiale. It's not like a Formula One weekend, you know, you'll be able to park easily, and it's a great track to watch at. If you can get up to the stadium area at the end of the lap, where there's the hairpin left, and then up and around the right-handers to chicane on the way down to the start-finish line. It's a cracking place to watch. You see the cars for a long time there. I think drivers will enjoy that. Be a nice end to the season.
Yes, and also for the spectators, like you mentioned, there's almost a full access. You can see the beautiful cars. You can see the older F1 cars. You can see the Ferrari prototype racing at Le Mans and up in the FIA WEC WC. So access is completely different compared to a normal event. Nowadays Formula One very strict, not an easy access. Instead Finale Mondiale is completely opposite.
Yeah, get around and see the cars a bit more on board here through that section. This is Nicholas Hoult, the actor in the number 100. Now, you spoke to him, Tony, yesterday. Great guy, loves his driving, would like to do more, but I think with his Hollywood schedule it's going to be tough for him to do more rounds. I was really impressed with him yesterday in qualifying, did a great job. But he said himself, didn't he, he was in traffic, and I think here it's clear he's trying to find some space.
Yeah, we talked yesterday before, let's say, the real action started, so he was really looking forward to this weekend. 4 years of Corso Pilota or Club Challenge, where he's been training, getting to the rhythm, getting the lines right, getting the driver technique right, and now he's stepped up his game into a real racing weekend, real racing category. Going into details, yesterday's qualifying, he lost the best laps being in traffic. He had other cars in front of him, and then he had some action at the race start. So there was cars,
did, didn't he? Spinning around near
exactly.
him.
And we we sent few messages last night, and he was like, I'm super happy I finished the whole race distance. I know I can get a better starting position in qualifying and then maybe aim for higher positions in today's race. But really, really nice person, really down to earth. And what is impressive, he listens.
Yeah.
It's not the case with all the race car drivers.
Yes.
They say yes, yes, but then they think the opposite.
Yeah.
Instead, with Nicolas, you can really feel that he wants to learn and he listens.
But I think if you look at what he does for a living, yes, it's Hollywood, etc. But my point actually is how collaborative making a movie is. You can't make a movie on your own. You know, you have to work with other talent.
Teamwork.
You have to work, yes, camera people, stunt guys, script, directors, producers. So he's used to that collaborative effort of everybody coming together to get the best outcome. And it's exactly the same in motorsport. The driver, yes, just like the actor, they're the focus of the audience. But the fact is they're not doing it on their own.
Yeah, and you need to adapt to very, very different situations quickly.
Yeah.
And just to try to perform at your best. So a lot of similarities also with his daily work, with his, let's say, hobby here with the Ferrari Challenge.
Yeah, good to have him along. Blake Rosser, currently in the pole with a 201.8. How does that compare to yesterday in Chalam, Tony?
So we are quite close, 2/10 off, 201.66 yesterday's pole position done by Moss. So quite close, giving a clear indication that the track condition is very good and very similar to yesterday. And in the next 1 to 2 laps, we will see the timing and scoring being very lively.
Yes.
All the lap times improving, seeing green and purple sectors.
So John Lennon has gone up to P6. Nicholas Hoult's gone up to P5. I think yesterday qualified 4th, so he's very close to where he was yesterday. What's his time? 2:03.8. Let me see what he did yesterday. Nicholas Hoult yesterday was a 2:02.5, so he's got another 1.3 in the locker, assuming conditions are similar to yesterday. Tony, I did notice it's 32 Celsius on track compared to 30, but I don't think that's enough of a variance to make a massive difference.
I think the conditions are pretty similar. I think the huge difference is we're coming from no sunshine and into a daylight, so the conditions are very good at this stage. In the afternoon, it's going to be quite different, over 100 Fahrenheit track temps, and this will be a task, difficult task for the teams, for the tires itself, and also for the setup. And also the teams have learned a lot from yesterday, so interesting to see how much the timing and scoring varies from yesterday's results to today.
Melissa Kozira, who you're looking at there again, is currently sitting in P2. She's 0.4 off. Which is fantastic. She was 3rd in yesterday's race and the winner of the Ladies' Cup. Fabian Sperman into P3. Sperman yesterday was P2, so at the minute the top 3 on timing are the top 3 from yesterday. Just with Sperman and Kozira around the other way in terms of their finishing positions. John Lennon had a big off yesterday, huge spin, but didn't hit the wall, so it was into the gravel. The gravel collected nicely. It was on the big carousel, if I remember correctly, wasn't it, on the direction change into there, I think, and he dropped it into the gravel, didn't he? I think maybe on the exit of turn 8, and luckily, I say, went deep in the gravel but didn't hit the wall. So, but despite no repairs, you said the team were about to do a fair bit of dusting.
Yes, a lot of cleaning in the engine area, and a lot of cleaning around the car, take the floor off and take those 20-25 kilos of extra weight from the gravel trap. And sometimes also the crews and the teams, they give some tools to the drivers, said, you parked it there, you help us. So it's not always pack your bags and go back to the hotel.
He's with Ferrari in San Francisco, and I'm sure the squad down there did their. Well, the car looks mint. I have to say, it looks absolutely stunning considering it went backwards through a gravel trap yesterday. So yeah, they've done a brilliant job. You're looking at Jeffrey Keel. Sensible approach again. We spoke about this morning with Manuel Marchi, didn't we? About how we feel that so last year, if you're not familiar, last year each of the different categories has a session. So this is Chalam, then we have Shell, Pirelli AM, Pirelli. Last year they had 12 minutes each, and we saw a lot of incidents. Now some of that was we were at the Miami F1 track. There's no runoff. I get it. You know, I kind of understand that more. But the 15 minutes, we feel drivers are taking a different approach.
We're riding here with Nicolas. It's true. These 15 minutes gives opportunities in case there is yellow or red flags, but also for the timing when to go out on track, and you don't need to rush things. And these, let's say, accidents or yellow flags you mentioned happen often with shell or shell-arm drivers being very determined from the beginning of the quali session and not really building their speed, and when the tires and the car is ready to perform, and then the drivers would be as well. So it's true that with 15 minutes you have more breathing space, you have more chances to abandon your lap and aim for the next one. I think it's a good call. And also, I've mentioned before that I love this format in qualifying. I love to perform at my best. I love to see the real performance of each driver, not being caught in traffic or having other issues, because qualifying should be about the pure performance, and then the race itself is something else. You need to understand also how to behave in traffic and how to do overtaking and so on. But qualifying should be clear lap and
on
do your best. On your own. And
driver
do your best.
versus clock. Yeah,
exactly.
Vartugian up to 7th, Roberts up to 5th at the minute, Nicholas Hoult in P9. We rode on board with him a minute ago and you saw him up shifting early to try and kill the wheel spin, so he's definitely thinking while he's out there driving, which is cool. A little bit wide there on entry.
144.
Yeah, Roberts, who's just moved up actually into P5, so clearly a good lap on the previous one. And has actually got his name on the windscreen. I'm a big fan of names on the windscreen, Tony. Could do with being higher. It's kind of behind the hood there, but I like it. I've been campaigning for this. We noticed yesterday a lot of beautiful Rosso Red, I think is it? The beautiful Rosso Red Ferraris. But when there's 4 of them in a fight, it's like, oh wow, okay guys.
Let's see the number first.
Yeah, give us a chance. Yeah. Give us a chance. But yeah, some great stuff. So yesterday, some really good racing. We really had to go there in the announcing booth. There were a couple of bits where we were having to really keep up. Rosser has pitted, so the pole man has come in. Our timing screen showing that he's in the pits, and also your screen on the left-hand side. You see the ladder. He shows a P next to his name. That means he's in the pits. So he's obviously feeling that he's done enough. Spurman is in P2, 0.2 behind. Melissa Kozira is a further 0.2 back. And then Dwight is within a second. So there's 5 drivers within a second over the top 5. And we are now late in the session. Oh, someone's off in the background. It's Melissa Kozira. So Kozira has a spin. I was just about to say we're probably at the point now where the tyres are not at their peak. Now, they will race on these later, but when we say peak, we mean ultimate lap time.
Yeah, but I must say that the pole position driver Rosser, he posted his lap time very early in the session.
Yeah.
And demonstrated that he was on it straight away. Very good job from Melissa to turn the car around and not to be trapped in the gravel trap. So yeah, really good job taking it easy and rejoining the quali session.
And no extra work for the team either. You know, you stick it in the loose there, and as you say, everyone's got to do a clean-up job before the race. She's in P3. I don't think a little spin like that will bother Melissa. She's been around long enough to know that, you know, your confidence isn't knocked by that. She's not that much of a beginner, not at all. She's, like I said, P3 on the grid. Where did she qualify yesterday? She was right up there, and yeah, she was P3 yesterday as well, and it was Moss and Rosser who were ahead of her. Where's Moss? Down in... Moss, yeah, he's down in P12. So yesterday Moss was on the pole with a 201.6, and what's he doing now? 204.0. So big difference in performance from yesterday to today. Unless he just hasn't had a clean lap. Obviously, we can't see and speak to every driver. This is the biggest category, actually. Shell-Am has the most entries. And as we say that, he goes P3. So we were dead right. It wasn't where he wanted to be. And Moss moves up to P3, just ahead of Kozira. Nicely done at the end of the session. The checkered flag is out. And down the left-hand side, you'll see the drivers that have taken that flag. Kozira, I don't think, would be on a flyer now. She could be. She might stay out for one more, but maybe not. So Moss could do another lap, but I don't know at this stage in the session that you'd bother. There he is in the 191. You can see there the nose of the car when it comes off the throttle and goes on the brake, just dips down. I mean, he still seems to be pushing. But then, you know, the pit entry, yesterday we thought Melissa was on her final lap, didn't we? And she then peeled off into the pits.
Yeah, I think he's still on it. The racing lines and the braking and everything.
Now he's in. It could be, Tony, what you said yesterday, that he's left it late in the session. Let me look at his lap count, because you said yesterday about with there being 15 minutes, there was more opportunity.
And also the fact that...
No, he's on 6. Yeah, he has done 6 laps, so he's been out there a while.
Yeah, and there might be a slight improvement of the racetrack during this qualifying, 4 qualifying sessions. There was track action before Ferrari Challenge qualifying started, so normally there should not be a big delta, big difference just on a pure speed and pure grip level from the track itself. So the first, let's say, Shell-Am, if you miss the first few minutes with the idea that the track will improve a bit during the session, but I think more of driver car combination with a clear lap is a better improvement than actual waiting too much and see if the track can improve.
So it crosses the line now, and he goes P1.
Wow.
So Moss stays out and goes P1 with a 2:01.2. Right at the very end of the session, he's gone 4/10 quicker than he went yesterday. Clear track, nothing out there. Got it done, Tony. That's pretty impressive.
Wow. Just few seconds before the checker flag, he had the track for himself. And wow, beautiful performance. But also, maybe I need to take my words back. Maybe in the last minutes, the track did improve a bit because he was on a lap 6 or 7.
Yeah, he was. He's done a lot of laps.
This was the thing we mentioned yesterday also with Mitchell Green in the other category, where he only posted 1 or 2 flying laps, went to the pits to save the tires, and it gave me the impression that if you do continuously a few more laps, there might be performance. And we saw this now this morning with Moss being very far back, then went to P3 and last lap into P1.
Good job. That would yesterday. That would have been enough to put him P5 in Copper Shell, not just Copper Shell Am. He would have been right up there. So very impressive. Glenn Moss, 4/10 quicker than yesterday. Double pole here at the Thermal Club. Blake Rosser, yesterday's winner. P2, Fabian Sperma, Melissa Kozira. They were the podium finishers yesterday. John Lennon recovers from a big spin yesterday into the gravel trap, gets himself 5th. Tim Dweet and then Daniel Roberts, Lance Corley, your top 8. Ed Vartugan, Steve Check, Henry Hummel, Nicholas Hoult, P12. I think it'd be a bit disappointing without having been much higher up yesterday, but it'd be fun to see him try and fight his way through. Luis Peruskia and then Jamie Garrett and Jeffrey Nürnberg down to P15. Joe Spasato, Darren Bernstein, Jesus Mendoza, Jeffrey Kill and Bernard Gomez are your 20 drivers in Copper Shell. Santa Rosa, was it the name of the mountains? Yes, it is. Santa Rosa Mountains in the background. It's a lovely backdrop, isn't it? It really is, with the date palm plantations in the background as well. The concept here at Thermal Club is pretty unique. And Tony, you were saying yesterday when we were off air, it's not easy to get something like this right.
Yeah, it is true. A track like this, you have the idea of the membership and private club, a private area, a lot of investment, and to get it approved by the club members is a big task, but I have not seen similar stuff in my life.
Nice, cool, isn't it? Yeah.
This is something very special. Starts with many things. The location, we have a private, let's say, airport or runway for the airplanes. Then the weather, we're still quite close to Los Angeles. The track itself, all the facilities apart from the track, because for members, it's not only about the things that happens on track.
No.
It's about being in this kind of community, having fun, having beautiful restaurant, all these things. If you have your own house here, that's something really special. So, like I said, I was really impressed when I saw this place for the first time on Friday.
Yeah, very nice. Nina J. Poole is down there. I reckon we should get her to get in there and interrupt. And double pole is an absolutely brilliant performance for Glenn Moss on the final lap as well. Nina Jade.
Glenn, let's get your helmet off, but 2 poles in a row. Congratulations. What is it you like about this track? Let's get his helmet off. He's a bit out of breath.
Track. Let's guarantee it. But I had not a great race.
Yes, what are you hoping you can change?
I just have to give myself another chance. You know, it's just, this is amazing, and you don't get a lot of these opportunities. So, I got in a lot of traffic the first 3 laps out there, and I hung on to one more.
Well, you got the pole in the 11th hour.
Yeah, 11:30, I think, but absolutely.
Well, congratulations. Go well in the race.
Thank you.
So looking for a bit of redemption then from yesterday. You know, got the pole. This is a similar situation we've had with Gary Ott. You know, very quick in quality. Going to see Gary in this, and he was a star of the session yesterday. But here he is. There's Gary. He was in full send mode yesterday, and he got stuck in the race as well. But he's had a few poles and wants to convert, and it's the same situation there for Moss.
Yeah, it is. He mentioned in the previous session, so the Shell Am pole sitter mentioned about traffic, lost 2 to 3 laps with the traffic, decided to go one more, and that was the lap that rewarded him with the pole position. Gary Ott here with the car number 106 with yellow wheels. You're a big fan of wheels. Different color
I do love it. Wheels. Correct, Tony.
Yes, Gary leaving yesterday the pits for qualifying. He was full send from the warm-up lap. I was expecting a little bit more in the actual race and a little bit more aggression at the start. Instead, he lost a place or two, and then the race itself didn't have a super balance with his race car. So let's see if Gary is one of the, let's say, big improvers from yesterday with the experience for the setup, for the driving, how to build up the speed, tire temps for qualifying at the race itself. So let's follow Gary Ott and his performance today.
Yeah, he was definitely taking a different approach on the first lap because he was you know, he's letting cars pass, making a bit of space. Whereas yesterday he really raced his way to the front and then went for the big push. And he was right up there, to be fair. I mean, Gary was he qualified second. And he was only pipped by, it was hundredths, wasn't it? Yeah, so 201.040. Mike Chen got the pole with a 201.023. So 17 hundredths in it, which is next to nothing.
Yes, and car 103 we see here on the bottom right. Very interesting also, Michael Owens moving up to Coppa Shell. Yesterday's qualifying on the last lap, purple sector, and then big hit to the wall in the S's. And he had to take a spare car for yesterday's race. Took it very easy, little bit off the pace in the beginning of the race, then improved step by step during the race. So let's see where Michael Owens's confidence level is in today's qualifying.
You can see it's a spare car as well. I mean, no disrespect to the team, but there's a black door on it, meaning that look, also the rear bumper is blue. So they've got a car out and had to prep it with what they've got. And I love that about a race team. You know, get the car out, get it on track. And he's out there. You say, yes, they took a bit of time to get into it, but he's ready to go now.
I think there's a Johnny Cash song, One Piece at a Time, or something like this. So maybe it's different models, different years.
Yeah.
If we go and see the Ferrari labels, so one part is from last year, one is from this
2025, 2026.
But the important thing is always the stopwatch.
Yes.
If it goes
stopwatch
well,
doesn't care what it looks like, does
exactly,
it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go, Michael.
Yeah, agreed. So Gary Ott is pushing now. Brian Waltersdorf in front of him. Nobody's set a time yet, so they're on their out laps. Oh, a lot of curve by Gary there onto the start-finish straight. And the thing is, now he's on this push lap, so 2 points. What's he done? 2:05. That's wow. That's quicker than pole yesterday, but half a second.
That's impressive. But we saw similar stuff from Gary yesterday. Every lap he's riding different curbs. He's not consistent every lap the same curb. You can see him being he has a lot of courage, he has a great car control, a little bit of smoothness may be missing there, but now when he realized the lap time, I think he backed off. So as a session opening,
that's a good one, isn't it?
That's a very impressive lap.
I'd be tempted with 10 minutes left to park it for 5 and then go out for another blat at the end if anybody gets near. I mean, that's half a second quicker than pole yesterday, so that's very good. I think the thing about Gary, you always say, don't you can teach a fast driver to be smooth, but it's hard to teach somebody to be fast. Yeah, he's got the car by the scruff of the neck. I enjoy watching him drive. You know my background's rally and rallycross. I love seeing someone throw a car around. Yes, I know that's not the perfect technique for here, but you say if he's riding a curb here and then not on the next lap, if he can piece together all his best sectors, he'd be up there with Pirelli. It's so that he's fast, but as you say, just piecing it together.
Yeah, it's true. I have a little bit different approach. We can teach our drivers a lot of things, but you cannot change their character.
Okay.
You cannot change the fighting spirit or not. You either have it or you don't.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with racing cars, is a lot of decisions and a lot of result refining things are done inside the helmet. You either have it, you're exhausted, you do long distance races, and then it's up to the mental strength. You're exhausted physically, but then an extra power, extra
hang in there.
External battery comes from somewhere, and this is the strength of a human mind. And some drivers have it, and that makes a big difference. And in my opinion, for that reason, often same drivers end up having good results, because they have something special behind the wheel. And for that reason, this is very fascinating sport. It's about the machine, but it's also about what is between the steering wheel and the seat.
So much is in the head, so much, and that's why we talk about when a driver has a big shunt, whether they can recover. Even when a driver has a child, and that'll sound mad to some people, but some drivers, they have a kid, and the survival instinct of wanting to look after their offspring kicks in, and they're not the same again afterwards. And of course, that's why in a lot of cases at the highest level, it's a young man's sport, because you're more willing to take those risks. There's so much in it, and it can be just the way you look at Chuck Whittle using a ton of curb as well. Waking up in the morning and just feeling I'm going to go and get this. Having the right mindset. I am going to go and try to win today. And it's not false bravado. It's self-belief and teaching yourself that it's possible.
Exactly. And also the fact that when you are full professional at the young age, you have qualities that in the older age you lose.
Yeah.
And you cannot gain them back saying that I just worked the double that I used to do. You cannot get it back.
No.
You cannot get it back.
No.
And that's why drivers, let's say Sebastian Vettel in F1 and stuff like that, at one point you just need to realize that I did my 15 years in F1, but now it's time to do something else.
Yeah. And he's done brilliantly at doing something else, hasn't he? Chuck Whittle goes P2, but he's still 0.8 off Gary Ott. So Gary Ott, with 7 minutes remaining in the session, he's looking really strong for pole.
I think we need to double check Gary's lap. Maybe he had a shortcut.
it was good, wasn't it?
Maybe.
It was good.
Yeah, maybe he used another configuration of the thermal.
Well, there are 3 different track layouts here, aren't there? So I was looking, whenever we go somewhere new, and this track is new for both me and Tony. First one, actually, that we've been to that we've both not been to before. And there are 3 separate tracks, and they can piece them together to make a super long, there is Gary now, a super long loop. And we're actually, I think, using the second longest track layout here, aren't we? This is the track which is most used. But there's a north loop, a further loop.
It's funny, we mentioned before this qualifying that we saw a lot of potential on Gary's driving, and let's see how he's going to do today. So
let's have a look and see as he comes over the line. Chen's gone quicker.
Wow.
Can Ott respond? He can't. So Mike Chen has done a 2 minutes .407, and Gary Ott with his 2 minutes .510.
Oh, he ran wide again.
So he might miss out here again on the pole just by a tiny margin to the same driver. It was Mike who denied him yesterday. They've both found half a second, which is impressive.
Yeah, the track must be a bit faster today, this morning, in a cooler temperature. Chen, again, very, very solid performance. Compared to Gary's driving, Chen is way more smooth, and I think Chen's strong point is the fast S's. He has very good racing line, and when the camera angle was pointing from the rear of his car, he's just placing his race car in a perfect way and preparing for the next corner and next curb. So very good battle between Chen and Ott at the top. So let's see if Gary has something in the pocket.
Chuck Whittle crosses the line, does go a tiny bit quicker, but we're talking hundredths. Here is Gary at the end of the back straight.
I think he's backed off on this lap. Let's see if he tries one more. But Gary has a very different racing line, also turn 1. He brakes super deep, dives and turns in early, but then he opens really wide. He doesn't stay tight at the exit of turn 1, and he's almost to the edge of a darker tarmac. He almost goes offline, and I think he's a bit too late on throttle. I would anticipate the braking a little bit, stay tight, and as soon as you have the rotation, then open the throttle. He understeers a bit too wide. He did the same thing in qualifying yesterday and also in the race yesterday.
I think the thing Gary's most keen to do, and the thing is he's getting time now to learn, is the race starts. So we were saying yesterday, you get pole, that's fine, but then it's your first time starting on pole. So you've got to learn what to do when you got the pole. He's had pole a couple of times. Now he's been on the front row, and again, yesterday, Chuck Whittle passed him on the brakes. I think Gary, the more he gets on that front row, the more he'll learn to go later and later on the brakes until finally he's going to get the pole and the whole shot, and then he's got the chance to go for the win. But it's a learning process. You know, you get that first front row, and you're, oh yeah, mega. You need 4 or 5 of them to learn what to do in the start in that situation.
Let's see now after the cool down lap if he's coming to the pits.
I think he is.
Yeah, he's saving those tires to this afternoon.
Great performance from Art to go half a second quicker, and Chen likewise.
Very good qualifying from both of them.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're up the road, aren't they, from Whittle? They are 0.8 of a second clear of Chuck Whittle. So what you got to do now is execute that in the race as well. Oh, Mike Chen has just gone quicker, has he? He's 4/10. He has. He's just gone quicker again. So 2 minutes 0.101. Mike Chen has just knocked another chunk off his lap time. Last lap, 2 minutes 0.101. Very impressive. So he's now taken an extra 3/10. How much quicker is that than yesterday, Tony? What was yesterday's time for Chen?
Chen yesterday 2:01.0.
Okay, so 9/10 quicker than yesterday. It's impressive. Michael Owens is in P4 in the T car, so that's good. He's done well as well. Brad Evans and Dayton have also done their best laps just now on their last lap. So people still putting in fast laps at the end. Michael Owens crosses the line again, but doesn't improve. I think lots of people now starting to wind down. Look at the car move straight away when you get on the throttle. You just don't take too much life out of the tyres. Comes out very wide, very early there. Borgio. Over the curbs on both sides. That's that lovely rear shot. It's a brilliant shot, that, isn't it? It really brings to life that whole section of the track. So I'm just pulling up our alternative timing screen here in announcing, so we're going to have a look and see about best and last laps. Yeah, so Mike Chen's backed off. We're seeing lots of slow laps. Ott's backed off, and actually they're both in the pit already. About half the field has come into the pits with a slow last lap, and we've got a spin round. It's Borgio. Just keeps it. I was going to say just keeps it out of the gravel. It's not deep gravel there. No, not so quick. Tried to whip it round on the throttle and ended up on the other side. So there's a bit of dust both sides of the track there now. It's far enough from the corner exit that it shouldn't matter. But that's that lap in the bin probably. Here you go, Tony.
Yeah, he's very determined to go on throttle. For sure, low settings on TC, traction control. And those 180-degree hairpins, you need to really almost risk it a bit in the exit. Just earlier you go on throttle, you gain on the next straight line. So he was pointing everything for the exit and just did a bit too much and didn't have enough rear support in acceleration. So let's see if he tries for another lap. I think he cannot, because we're running out of time. It's 25 seconds left in this quali session.
That's one of the jets you were talking about. That's the advantage of having a private racetrack next to a private runway, isn't it?
Yeah, that's yours. That's yours.
Yeah, two sets of private pavement. Yeah, that's my jet for later, Tony. I insist on travelling by PJ. You know, it's I'm a busy guy, and you know, I'm sorry you'll be in on a normal flight. It's a tough
story
life.
Of my life.
The reality is I'm looking forward to a 3-hour qualifying session run to LAX tonight to try and make my flight back to London. So yeah. I'll be getting purple sectors the whole way to LAX, mate. We'll wait for the post to drop, see if there's any speeding fines when we get back. Hopefully not.
With the Macarena rear wing.
Yeah. Mike Chen very pleased. So that is 2 double poles, both in Copper Shell and Copper Shell AM, the same driver has taken the pole. Might we get a full set today of double poles? I can't remember that ever happening, every category having the same driver both days, but there'll be some battling for sure in Pirelli AM and Pirelli, which are coming up next. Drivers getting lined up and ready to head out. I'm sure Nina Jady's now down there trying to find Mike Chen. We'll have a chat with him in a minute.
Also a good reminder for the drivers is each session is different. You cannot get mentally stuck in the same performance. Today you've gone 9/10 faster.
Yeah.
Shows that you have the capability of feeling the race car and the tires and the grip level from the track. Each corner a 10th faster, 1 second on a lap.
Yeah, and that's what Mike Chen did. He's with Nina Jade Paul now.
2 poles in a row. You won yesterday. You were absolutely flying out there. You went quicker by 9/10 of a second from your lap yesterday. You were flying.
Yes. Did a really great lap. Put everything together. It's quite challenging yesterday. The car, the balance is very good, but on my fly lap yesterday it wasn't 100%. But today the condition is perfect. The tire is at the right temperature, right range, really grip, and also I didn't make any mistakes. So really put a strong lap together. So really happy about it.
You said the conditions were better today than yesterday. How do you reckon your chances for another win?
Well, I will be ready for it. Hopefully it's going to be a clean and smooth race. And let's target for the first place. Yes.
Well, congratulations. Here is your pole position award.
Very nice. Look at that. The Thermal Club mapped out with the Stars and Stripes flag in the background as well. Nice to see a pole position trophy, and there he is, taking that pole for the 2nd day in a row. He said it was the perfect lap, and the conditions were perfect too. Mike Chen, double pole sitter here at the Thermal Club. He takes that top spot in Copper Shell. Gary Ott, P2, just 4/10 behind. Great job by him. They are significantly in front of Chuck Whittlow's in 3rd. Michael Owens 4th, Brad Evans, Ryan Dace, Joel Rose, Brian Wolfstorff down to P8. Lewis Flory, Kevin Orsini, Javier Rodriguez Borgio, Michael Moyes and Andrew Parker are your 13 drivers in Copper Shell. But double pole for Mike Chen, great performance. Oh, look at this. Look, start them early, Tony. Start them early. And let's be honest, so close. Let's go. Come on, we need to stay. Don't cut from this shot. I want to see if it goes in. Oh, he wins the Masters, or maybe she. I'm not sure from this distance. But either way, good job. Good job. Now, you see, if you're at home, kids, do tennis, soccer, golf, any of those things you could practice and become a millionaire. If you do motorsport, it's the fastest way to start with a lot of money and spend it. It's a brilliant sport, but it's tough to practice, I'm afraid, motorsport. That, of course, is why the Thermal Club is here for people who are enthusiasts of getting a bit more track timing, can come and they come down to their house, they get the toys out the garage, they go and do some racing in the morning and the afternoon with a nice lunch in between. This is the way to go motor racing practicing, but you will need to be successful at something if you're going to fund it. So yeah, it's golf is a good one to get your kids into early, although golf clubs and travelling for the tournaments is expensive too. So yeah, I don't know, darts maybe.
Yeah, I think in the end everything is quite expensive.
Yeah, it is.
When you are in the top level, so
yeah, you got to travel for it, haven't you? Yes. But you know what? It's brilliant. You got to have a go. You really have. Just go and try something, or whatever it takes you fancy. Go and do it. I love working in sport. It's wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah, and you need to believe in yourself. You need to have dreams and then go and fulfill them, and then enjoy the journey. So. Motorsport is one very 360-degree experience because, for example, for me, yes, the racing has always been where it all started, but then it comes much more. The people you get to know over 20, 25 years, for example, in the Ferrari family. First, the work relationships become friendships, and then it becomes much more. So. The racing community itself is very always the group of people is very particular.
Yeah.
But sharing the same passion makes it very special as well. So friendship friendships for a lifetime created, at least for me in this sport.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I wanted to be a driver. I didn't have the money, arguably didn't have the talent, but it doesn't matter. I've been lucky to spend so much time following a sport that I love so much and meeting people that I consider to be my heroes, whose phone numbers I now have, and we go for a beer at an event, and it's wonderful. I'm not going to lie, it was hard work, as I'm sure it was for you as well, Tony. But I'd love to see more kids at school encouraged to go do what they want to do. You want to be an astronaut, go for it. You might not be an astronaut, but you might end up being a pilot. You know, it's the old shoot for the stars and end up at the moon. That's fine. It's still better than not shooting for the moon. You know, you gotta have a go at stuff. So
exactly,
yeah, it's good fun. So we're heading out now. We're getting into Pirelli AM. Gregory Hopkins is out with looks like a new bumper. Oh, sorry, that's at the back. Yeah, the new bumper on the front for whoever was running first on track. Hopkins you're looking at now. I'm sure this car, that livery is very similar to Jarrett Bilacek's from last year. But that's okay, that's fine. The number 99 is Jan Bernier. Very similar colour scheme. Well, it's the same colours as last year. I think the orange might be a bit darker. I like it. I think it looks great. Now, yesterday Bernier was up front with Michael Mathes, and there was an incident where they were both removed from that situation and then up a lot further down the order. That's been dealt with by race control. We don't need to go into detail about that, but I think the driver's briefing, Tony, will be after qualifying and before the racing. And a couple of the drivers were saying to me at breakfast today they're expecting a stern briefing today.
Yeah, like I said before the first qualifying session, also some responsibilities for the race director and the stewards is to make the drivers feel safe, and the driving standards need to be well said. Everybody needs to know how to race with these beautiful cars. It doesn't mean that you cannot race hard, but you still need to be fair. If there is no space, you cannot dive bomb. If there is no space, you cannot just do things that, you know, eventually in the end will cause a chaos. So I think you need to be strict, and then drivers need to respect each other as well. So it happens with racing, and I think lessons learned, and I think today will be a much better day in that perspective. First spin, 46.
Yeah, that's Burrows who spun. So
yeah, Burrows didn't have a good race yesterday, and spinning again early in this qualifying session. Mitchell Green with his new livery. Let's see if in qualifying I would want him to do 1 or 2 laps more than he's been doing lately. Only 1 or 2 flyers and being on top, coming to the pits, and then losing the pole position. So I would recommend Mitchell stay out as long as your rivals stay out, and try to match their pace until the end, until there's nobody improving their lap time. If you want to win Ferrari Challenge, it's better to be on pole position.
Yeah, so maybe go a bit longer. He's been saving tyres a little bit, hasn't he? So we have got a couple of grid spot penalties, and these are not the incident we were talking about where Bernier and Mathes were taken out. So Martin Burrows in the number 46 is one of them who has to serve a 10 grid spot penalty. What they said is he was responsible for one of his incidents yesterday, and that's fine. He'll take that on the chin. But the problem is, Tony, he now needs to qualify as high as he can, because they'll now knock him down 10 spots afterwards. And also in this one, Esteban Beckman. So
for Barros is 2 options: either qualify for pole or set a 1 lap and park it.
That's a great idea. Why not? Because there's only 11 cars in the category, so why not go scrub the tyres in and then make hay when the race starts? Tony Villander with a great tactic there. So I wonder if we'll see. So Beckman and Vencelavas are in the pits. Esteban Beckman yesterday was the winner, but after the stewards looked back at some of the incidents in the race, they weren't happy. So he was given a penalty which dropped him way down the order. So he was given, I think it was a 40-second penalty, and Beckman will start this race from pit lane. So Beckman, that could well be why he's not gone out, Tony. What's the point? You know, if you're starting from pit lane, you might as well save your tyres.
Yeah, exactly.
That's him here, front of your picture with the 77. So are they doing the tyre pressures now, or are they reaching into maybe just talking through the slider window on the side?
Or maybe just waiting and coming out in the last 5 to 6 minutes to post 1 or 2 flyers.
Just to get your head into gear, isn't it?
Here's Mitchell Green. beautiful car this year, beautiful livery.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? He had damage yesterday, didn't he? Which meant the car was crabbing a little bit from another early. I think Pirelli AM was where most of the stuff happened yesterday.
Yeah, it was there was some action at the start on the opening lap, and then it was the safety car towards the end of the race where everybody's packed up together, and then everybody knows it's 5 minutes to the end, so the aggression level goes
up.
a bit higher. It's always difficult to judge. I don't feel drivers do crazy stuff on purpose.
No,
it is that one fraction of a second where you need to decide either you go in or not and try to overtake. So let's see, Mitchell Green.
Yeah, 202.2. Where did he do yesterday? Yesterday he did a 159.6. So yeah, that's not a warm-up lap, but it's great to see him and Jan Bernier. They've both gone up from Shell to Pirelli AM, and they're both immediately towards the top. Mitchell is a member here, but Jan isn't, so I think it just goes to show the level of both of these drivers is very high.
Beautiful images.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? The drone shots are amazing here, they really are. And I'm pleased to see them both doing so well, you know, in that next category up. Yes, Bernier yesterday, he was on for a P2, and I say that him and Mathes were taken out in an instant at the restart, and they'll be disappointed about that. Having said that, you know, they held on for reasonable results. It's not a total disaster. Mitchell Green actually ended up P3 with the damage. Then there was the carnage. He ended up back at, say, P4, I think it was in the end. And then with the penalty for Beckman, Mitchell Green ended up third. So he did well to stay out with the damage on the car and limit the loss of points. Oh, Bernier on a mission. Big sideways onto the back straight.
Wow, that was great car control. Jan Bernier is a real championship driver. He's very consistent with his performance on different type of racetracks, from qualifying to a race. In the end of last year, he was in a few accidents, not really his fault, and also yesterday, we didn't get a clear shot what happened, but if I need to predict something, it was not really that Jan Bernier went to look for contact. It was just something that happened at the restart. So Bernier goes P1.
Yeah, Bernier's gone quick. He's 159.5. Yesterday's Pirelli pole was 159.3. Bernier yesterday 159.699, so he's gone a couple of tenths quicker. Here comes Mitchell Green. Mitchell Green, can he respond to his old rival? He's sitting in P2. He's 3,000ths off. 3,000ths of a second off Jan Bernier's time.
Yeah, and Mitchell wanting to do the shortest distance from last turn, staying far left to cut the timing line and minimum margin to P1, just 3,000ths of a second.
Bernier last year, you were talking about that consistency. I mean, it was just, this was up to Watkins. It was second, third, first, second. Yeah, that's incredible. And then, as you say, unfortunately, after that, it didn't quite go according to plan. I've got the stats somewhere in my folder. I'll find them in time for the race later. But yeah, right at the end of the year, frustrating when it doesn't go according to plan, and it has done all year.
Because they were fighting with Mitchell Green. 1 point was separating them.
Wasn't it? Tiny.
Yeah, exactly.
But good between them. And I say, we were saying how fun it is to see them come up through the categories together. You know, will they both end up next year in Pirelli? And then we get to see again, you know, do they raise the level again?
Yeah, Michael Matthews lost the rhythm riding the first curve. The rear got a little bit loose, so he lost the line, and that little dust coming up. So at that high-speed corner, you don't want to go off the racing line.
Well, that's where we saw the big crash yesterday, wasn't it?
Exactly. That was the place.
It was, yeah. So too much curb, and then the rear comes round, and you are going for a ride. So Burrows is in the pits. We said that, didn't we, that with the penalty you suggested he might not do that many laps. Let's see what Mathes does with the big commitment out the back. Is it going to be enough? Yes, it is. Mathes goes quicker. So Bernier's gone quicker as well, because the gap to Green is now 0.4. So there's 3/10 between. So Bernier must have gone quicker again, but Mathes has gone quicker than both. So yesterday's pole sitter is on the pole again. We're looking at 3 out of 3 classes here, where the same driver is on pole as yesterday. 5 minutes remaining. Mitchell Green over the line, doesn't improve. So Mitchell Green is staying out for longer.
Yeah,
but
he's doing more laps today.
Yeah, not going quicker though at the moment. Let's have a look at that lap
Maybe
count.
they watched our broadcast.
Yes, indeed.
Amorosi and Scuderia Corsa have watched our broadcast and listened.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Just guessing.
Yeah, maybe. So looking at laps, Burrows has gone in after 3. So I reckon he won't be coming back out. There's no point, as you were saying. So he might as well save his tyres. Beckman hasn't come out at all. He has come out. Okay, so Beckman's done an out and in lap, our producer Amanda is saying, so that's why he hasn't triggered the timing line. So that makes perfect sense to me. Scrub the tyres, you're starting in pit lane. So Esteban Beckman, I think that could be fun, Tony, to watch him try to come through the pack. You know, he's going to have to come through. Where is he going to be? Yeah, be at the back. So, yeah, he won yesterday, so he's got to get past 11 cars if he wants to do the same. I think that's too tall an order, but I would expect him to get close to the podium if he's really on a mission.
Yeah, good solid start. You don't wish bad things to happen, but for him, safety car mid-race, back everything together, and then you don't have big margins between drivers, and then he could even aim for podium.
I think the other thing is that sideways again. I think the other thing is that turn 1, yes, the 2 or 3 people at the front will get away. They'll get some space, but the midfield, everybody will run wide and tuck underneath each other. You're coming out of pit lane. Sometimes you go, right, okay, they've spun left, he's spun right, bosh through there. And you find yourself on the back of the train, pick a couple of people off quickly who are not as confident as you. And he could make up some places on that first lap, but it does depend how long he's held in the pit lane for after the start before they let him after the rest of the pack.
Yeah, Mitchell Green backed off from his flying lap, 22 coming to the pits, Porter. And I think 3 minutes to go. Most of the drivers have posted, I've done. Yeah. They posted their best lap times.
Gutierrez. I quite like Gutierrez's livery. It's kind of an off-white, isn't it, with the black circle on the front. It looks off-white, maybe it's just our pictures, but easy to spot. He stays in P8. Listen to the Pirellis. Just hear the light screech there for Chang as he comes through. Remember that Chang yesterday was the winner. After the penalty for Esteban Beckman, Frank Chang was the winner, but at the minute he's sitting in P9, some 3.2 seconds off. I'm going to look at his lap count again. He's showing 5 laps. So Chang's done the laps, but isn't finding the lap time.
Oh, riding that exit curve really close to the wall.
So this and maybe this and one more. So Frank Chang has 2 laps left to get up from P9. Yesterday's winner looking for a better lap time. Tucks in to the final corner, turn 17, round there, over to the line, maybe lifted a bit mid-corner there, over the finish line, and doesn't improve.
Yeah, maybe he did his own best, but didn't improve.
Let's have I'll get up the other screen and we can see then. Yeah, personal best for Frank Chang, 201. It's just 201.5. Oh yeah, it's still... Something strange going on with the timing screen, isn't there? Oh, sorry, that's got it on here. No, it's in our screen here in announcing that we're just looking at. Scrolling through. Yeah, his last one was a 201.5. So, yeah, he's remained where he was. 2.4 off, and as Tony said, it was his best lap. Bernier's parked it. We're showing Mathez has stopped on our screen, which would suggest he's not made it back to the pits, which is unusual. This is Matthew Diel, who I saw this morning. Diel with one of the best liveries out there. He's got a cap which matches it as well. He's sitting in P4 at the minute. Here with his wife and kids this weekend. They're having a great time in Casa Ferrari. Remains in P4 with 30 seconds left. He's got another lap if he wants it. Gutierrez is out there. We know Chang is out there as well. He's backed off, hasn't he? So watch for, in the gap background, Gutierrez. Now, Gutierrez, I think, is backed off as well, looking at those pictures. So Chang is potentially the only driver who's on a push lap, if he is. Here he is. And you think he's off as well, Tony?
Yeah, it looks like he's done as well. I think that's
so
more,
Mathis is
more
in
or
the pits, we're hearing. So, sorry, say again, Tony.
Yeah, I think this is it. We have the checker flag, and I don't see any drivers trying to improve.
So just 3 out there circulating. They're all on a go-slow lap, so that is the session complete from our point of view, despite the fact they're not back to the pits just yet. Michael Mathes takes the pole, and that means that all 3 categories so far, the pole position has gone to the same driver as yesterday. So it's just Johnny Kaminsky who's got a job to do now for us to complete the set. I'm sure Mathes will be pleased. 159.1 is 0.2 quicker than he went yesterday. Tony, we're maybe not seeing such big improvements in the Pirelli category because they would have been a little bit more consistent yesterday.
Exactly. They probably have less things to improve in their driving. It has been seen that the track is a bit faster, but delta, the improvement now with Pirelli AM was less compared to the Shell and Shell AM drivers. But still, very strong lap times, and same expectation for Pirelli drivers as well, that they will beat their yesterday's pole lap time.
Wonderful drone shots of the Thermal Club, the venue for the first weekend of Ferrari Challenge. There's that kink right onto the straight. It's a lot tighter than it looks from the trackside cameras. When you see it from up here, you can see why they're running out onto the dirt. They're coming through there, and it's you're clipping the apex very early in the corner and running the car all the way across the pavement to the outside. That is the Trofeo Pirelli drivers getting ready to head out on circuit. So Nina Jade Paul is with Michael Mathes now. Let's go and hear from him.
Michael Mathes, a double pole. You were absolutely flying. How was it out there?
You know, it was good. I mean, a little bit quicker than yesterday for me, and I think that's all I can really hope for is trying to improve day over day. So I think I'm really happy with that.
We're finding the track is generally a little bit quicker than yesterday. How are you feeling for your chances for the race?
Oh, I think my chances are great. I think yesterday's race, I ran it as best as I could. A little bit of an unfortunate incident. You know, Ferrari and IMSA handled it extremely well. I'm just looking forward to today and going out there and doing much of the same and ending up with a different result.
Well, you've got the best seat in the house. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Good job. Third double pole sitter of the weekend. Just the one session still to go. So here are the results then on Trofeo Pirelli AM, and it's Michael Mathes from Jan Bernier, Mitchell Green, the sparring partners from last year, separated by 3/10. Bernier only a 10th of Mathes. Those two yesterday will be desperate to get the result they deserved yesterday, and unfortunately was taken away with an instant later in the race. So Matty DL, P4, good job. Gregory Hopkins, Michael Porter, Martin Burrows will have a grid penalty, I think we said earlier. Kevin Gutierrez is in P8. And then as we go down, you've got Frank Chang, Esteban Beckman, no time. Gerdas Vencelavas, no time. Don't know what happened to Vencelavas. We know with Esteban Beckman that he has to start the race from pit lane, so he's done exactly the right thing, which is what Tony Villander expertly suggested. Save the tyres for the race. Here he is then, freaky fast Johnny Kaminsky. Finally yesterday converted the pole into the win. Also with the fastest lap. It was a great performance. Anybody only got near him because of the safety car late in the race. He had a 7-second gap at that point. He will want pole today. I want him to get pole today, not because I've got anything against the other drivers. I really want all 4. My OCD is desperately telling me that I want all 4 pole sitters to get both. Look at that, heart hands up. He's having a great time. But it's not going to be easy. Roberto Perina's not going to make it easy for him. Is that Perina there in the 55?
Yeah, he
different
has
livery.
Different car, different livery. His car had a technical issue yesterday in the race, so maybe he had to change the car.
Yeah, we're hearing he's taken Kyle Washington's car for today. So, okay, yeah, good point with the tech issue. That's an easy way to solve it.
Yeah. But yeah, Johnny Kaminsky really set the tone yesterday, sent a clear message to everybody. He had the pace on one lap, and what really impressed me was his race pace. I mean, the car was handling perfectly, and like you mentioned, he had over 7-second lead before the safety car. So the expectation is Johnny is also today the man to beat, and let's see the lap times and the performance with this final session, the 4th qualifying session, our Pirelli drivers.
I was enjoying looking at the cars down in the pre-grid, Tony, because a number of them had light grey wing mirrors, and that means they have had the wing mirrors replaced. So normally the wing mirrors are either wrapped or painted along with the livery of the car. So when you see somebody with grey wing mirrors, particularly when there's only one, you can normally tell, there we go, there's another one that at some point they've been in the wars yesterday. All good drivers knock the mirrors off. I used to knock the mirror off the co-driver's side of my rally car, and then when I got a left-hand drive rally car, I still knocked it off the co-driver's side of the rally car on the other side. So
I thought when you went to the other side, you knocked off the half of the car.
yeah,
because you have difficulties to measure. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I've spent so much time abroad now. I've kind of got used to sitting in both. I actually so obviously in the UK we drive right-hand drive cars, which is there are a few nations that do that. But my last competition car was a left-hand drive car, and I really enjoyed it because I felt like I was getting into the race car, instead of the road car. And it was different driving a left-hand drive rally car, but it was pretty cool.
I've never raced right-hand
drive car.
No.
Yeah, okay.
Never.
You must have done some track driving in one, have you, or no?
Yeah, I mean in UK with the rental car, and then normal stuff, bringing the rental car back without no tires and no brakes. But that's it.
Don't be gentle, it's a rental. That's the saying. Yeah. If you own a rental car company, you just have a little Google of the drivers' names. Anything to do with motorsport.
Whenever there's a race event close by, somehow you need new tires and new brakes.
Yeah, there are some good rental car stories knocking around. There are. Who's that on a go slow? That's not somebody stuck on limiter again, is it? Because yesterday Johnny Kaminsky they did a reset, didn't they? And that got him away. That was actually what was so impressive with Kaminsky yesterday. He only had 5 minutes to do the job. That is 18.
David
Beaton.
Yeah.
David Beaton. So this is your driver that used to coach Tony.
Yeah, it is true. At Mont-Tremblant, I coached him a few times with go-kart a few years back. Since he's been racing in go-karts, practicing a lot with the Ferrari Challenge car, being coached by ex-drivers who have a lot of experience. David didn't race yesterday, but today he's in full form, and let's see how his performance is. My advice for him for this weekend was take it step by step. Don't be too eager too soon. Just take it as it is, and don't put too much pressure on yourself. And then I think we will see great things from this young driver this year.
He's moving the car around a little. I noticed he moved the car around on the exit of the hairpin and got it a bit sideways. But I didn't necessarily get the impression it was a mistake. More, it's what I do if I jump into a new car. You have a stab on the throttle, and you have a go on the steering. You jump on and off the brakes, and you get a feel for the way the car reacts.
Yeah, I think he came out from the pit lane just really slow, and he wanted to create that extra gap between him and the other drivers. And now it's just a matter of building up tire temps, like Manny Franco is doing here with his beautiful Ferrari as well. So I think it's solid job right now from all the drivers, and it takes another few laps until we see great lap times.
The thing is, these guys are this is our top category. So they're all approaching it the way a professional driver approaches it. They've all given themselves a bit of space. They all go and do a steady lap. Yeah, a little bit extra rotation on Kaminsky there. And you say they just get everything warmed up. For them, it's a process, isn't it? There isn't any of the, oh my god, I need to go quick. I must get this done. It's like, okay, this is the process. Out lap, warm up lap, 2 flyers, bring it in.
Yeah, consistency, skill level is a bit higher. These drivers feel a bit better where the grip is and where the grip ends, and they can put this Ferrari Challenge car more to the limit. And just very talented drivers. And again, this year it will be a tight battle in Pirelli, and I mean, Johnny Kaminsky is a good favorite for the championship, but there's also many other drivers who can match his speed and challenge him over the season.
Yeah, I think we need as well, it's not yet clear, is it, who's going to do it all. You know, we had the same thing at Sonoma last year. A lot of drivers came to Sonoma for the first one of the year, but with business commitments for some are not just professional drivers. And well, neither's Johnny. Johnny's studying at school, but he will be at every round this year, and it will become more obvious who's going to do them all. I suspect Perina will. Cook was with us the whole of the last season, and then with the Falvers were as well. So yeah, we've got a good selection there. Manny Franco only came to a few events last year. You're looking at Roberto Perina now in Kyle Washington's car from yesterday.
Yeah, these are the first lap times now. 2:02 from Kaminsky means that the tires are starting to be ready. So these next 2 laps will be the very decisive ones for these drivers.
Yeah, they'll all start to push now.
Whoa, very much on the limit, Roberto
Yeah.
Perina. Right in those curbs in the chicane, and then almost a bit too wide on the exit curb. Very wide line in the entry. Whoa!
Yeah, no, the
Very wide
sideways.
line on the entry to the hairpin, and then just early on power, and very wide again, and riding that exit curb just on the edge of the track.
You could see the initial bump where they brake there. You could actually see the nose of the car. Tiny bit deep on maybe. No, it's nice on the exit though. It's like a double apex, isn't it? Very late and long into the middle of the corner. These are the 3 long carousel corners. This is the longest one, the longest, quickest one. Okay, Kaminsky. So Kaminsky will be on a push lap now. Did a 1:59.0 last time round, but that's not as quick as they were before. Bitton, 1:59.0 as well. So Bitton is immediately, immediately on the pace. Kaminsky, was a 2:02.6. Yeah, you're right. Wow, so Bitton's gone under the radar there and got it done. Yesterday's pole was a 1:58.2, so Kaminsky here will be looking to set a fast lap. We know these guys because they're so good, and we know that the tyres are at their peak for the first 3 laps. They'll only get a couple of opportunities to get it completely right. What does Kaminsky do this time? Remember yesterday, 1:58.256 over the line today. 1:58.1. He's gone quicker immediately. He goes a 1/10.5 quicker than yesterday. Kaminsky takes that position back. And Perina, 1:58.175, 74 hundredths behind him. Roberto Perina absolutely flying. Weisman coming through now. That's the drift of the day. Great car control from Weisman over the line up to P4. He's 1.7 off, but that was a proper bit of high-speed car control, Tony.
Wow, not the fastest way, but looking spectacular coming out of the last turn.
10 championship points
Whoa.
from me for that.
Yeah, pole position for that.
100%. I love a bit of sideways. It was the control though as well. You know,
Yeah, he
not to
didn't back
panic.
off.
It was lovely, lovely car control at high speed too.
Didn't back off.
Weisman with the full send award definitely for today. And the timing screen is absolutely lighting up now. Best laps from everyone except Bitton, who we know is out of sequence, remember, because he found himself a bit of space. Bitton drops to 4th as Brad Falvera goes up. Here
Very
comes
wide.
Bitton now, so he's on a push lap, number 18 into the final corner. This could be a very good time indeed. He's aiming for Kaminsky, but he stays in P4. He's 0.9 off, so it's a good lap, but he hasn't really gone much quicker than, he hasn't gone quicker in fact than last time. So 1:59.0, so probably one more try for these guys. Manny Franco, the first of the top drivers who hasn't set a quick lap yet. Lovely late entry onto the back straight and a good exit as well.
Yeah, Manny Franco looked yesterday very smooth, almost like too slow, but then the lap time, the stop was good.
Brilliant, yeah.
It was brilliant. Then in the race itself, he was struggling to match Johnny's pace, and also in the race start itself. The car is moving a bit, little bit oversteery. The rear is a bit wild on Manny's car. Let's see the lap time.
P3, so 0.6 off. So Perina and Kaminsky, remember Perina's not in his car. You said this is Perina here. Roberto Perina, last year he swapped cars 2 events in and then was on the podium for the whole of the rest of the season. Comes over the line this time, not quite enough. It is his best lap, it says. So Kaminsky, no, it's not. It's the same as before. Kaminsky, it doesn't go quicker. He's just crossed the line. In fact, he's in the pits. So Kaminsky's gone into the pits after one flyer. He thinks a 1:58.1 is enough. Perina has stayed out, but I reckon probably, Tony, one more crack at it?
It looks like he started even another lap, but I think he will see the predicted lap time compared to his previous lap, so he will probably go for a half a lap, see where he's at, but I think the tires have given up a bit. The peak performance is gone, so it's very difficult to improve. If you didn't have any mistakes on your previous flyer, the performance is dropping.
Yeah. Here he comes now onto the back straight. Oh, it's Falvera, sorry, this is Falvera we're looking at. Sitting in P4 at the minute. He's done a 1:58.9. Falvera yesterday was a 59.5, so he's already gone quicker than he went yesterday.
Impressive from Perina is, like you mentioned,
Yeah.
you change your race car, you have a couple of laps and you're straight on the pace. So
Very good indeed. Yeah, no improvement for Falvera. Here comes Grinzovich, who's down in P9 at the minute. Into the final corner. Lovely throttle blip on the downshift as we come through the last right. into 17 on the throttle early. Oh, he's nice, right out over the white line, and moves up. Grinsvich up to P5. Nicely done. So finds a whole second, 1.1 seconds, and goes up to P5.
Manny doesn't improve. Improves, but doesn't
Move up.
move up. Yeah, stays P3.
So
But it's a good demonstration of the quality of our Pirelli field. Manny Franco is a race winner.
Yeah.
IMSA driver, regular GT3 driver. So Kaminsky and Perina are showing their pace as well.
Weisman with a full send award. Not this time.
I would love to be a wise man.
So I'll tell you what, he's a very wise man for
Yes.
not lifting in the middle of that corner. He did well to
Exactly.
hang on to it. Lovely, lovely car control. Can't emphasise enough how difficult that is in a.
I cannot do it.
You won't effectively. It's a
I
G.
would have lifted an
You would have
inside
lifted and
wall.
gone in.
Yeah.
Tony. So come on, all that ice driving. Of course you
Yeah.
can do it, eh?
But it's all bar talk. No.
Yeah.
Sauna talk, and
Yeah.
when the real action happens, ain't got the skill.
What about snowmobiling?
Snowmobiling, I used to be semi-professional. Now not. Missing one wrist this year. I need to change the throttle for the left
Yeah,
hand.
like the MotoGP riders. Tony
Yeah.
Villander, he went full send and held on for 3 buckaroos, didn't you, on the
Yes.
exit? But yeah, the 4th one got him.
Yeah, Tony Highsider Villander. That's it.
Do you remember that movie, The Highlander? But
Yes,
now you
yes.
could be the high
Immortal.
sider.
That's what I thought I was.
It turns out not so. He only had
Yes.
the pins out of his wrist this week, and the hospital wouldn't let him keep them, would they? He was
Yeah.
devastated.
Yes, exactly. No, the surgeon actually asked why you want to have the pins. I said I want to see them every time I jump on a snowmobile.
Yeah, tell me that. No, lift. Don't do anything
Yeah.
silly. Cook crosses the line for P7 still. But yeah, you'll be okay, mate. So you've not been able to do much driving, have you? I don't think you were able to take part up in northern Finland. You had the Ferrari, the ice driving experience that you were helping run up there, and
Yeah,
I
no
guess-
driving this year. I was there for a month, the month of February, preparing everything. And when the event started, we had minus 35 Celsius, though, so that was a bit tricky.
Yeah, you said, and getting the cars ready.
Everything. So, but after that, for the event itself, it was beautiful. Cold over the nights, so it was perfect to maintain the tracks. And then during the daytime, minus 5, minus 10. So
And you
very
use
good.
studded tyres there, of course, which is you have to use studded tyres on ice.
Yes, we had 4 car models, so Puro Sangue 296. We had Testarossa, and then we had the challenge car.
Yeah.
And the street car models had between 3.5, 3.8 mil studs, and then challenge car has more rally car style
The long
ice tires.
studs, yeah.
And also the groove, everything is different, the shape of the tire. So
Yeah, it's more like a gravel tyre, isn't it, where the blocks move a little
Yes,
bit more, and
yes.
then you have the longer studs, but that
Exactly.
gives it the grip levels. I think if you've never been lucky enough to do it, I have, not with Ferrari, but I've been up on the frozen lakes in Norway, and it's mega, isn't it? The grip is so much higher than you think it will be.
yeah,
Your
it
brakes
surprises
so
a lot
late.
of drivers. A lot of our clients are surprised from the grip.
They're amazing, aren't they? I remember the first time I took a rental car in Norway. It was a little Toyota Yaris with studded tyres, and I'm driving up the mountain being really careful, because I have no idea how much grip there is. I was on my way to the lakes to do some instructing, and this old deer overtook me in a Volvo with a
Yeah.
trailer on the back, and I was like, okay, I think there might be more
Yeah.
grip than I think there is. You know,
Yeah, I'm
driving.
just warming up my tires here.
Yeah. In the end, we got a puncture on one of my tyres on the lake, so we had to put the space saver on, and the space saver didn't have studs. So from then on, one way the car was really sideways, and the other way not so much. But it was a good time. The rental company was called Rent a Wreck, and so you rented old rental cars. It was brilliant. It was such a good fun trip.
4 out of 4, same pole sitters
Yeah.
in each session. So
Kaminsky
impressive.
with the one flyer this time earlier in the session. Yesterday you had to wait right until the end. Today you went out, got it done immediately. Roberto Perina in a car which he's borrowed for today after his issues yesterday, and immediately on the pace, just 74 thousandths behind Kaminsky. I wonder if Perina might be able to give him a bit more of a race. Remember, Perina didn't really feature yesterday, so can he go with Kaminsky? Maybe it won't be quite such an easy job today in the race, but I'm sure we can find out, because Nina Jade Poole is with him now.
Johnny, pole position, and you did it in one flying lap. You didn't need any more. Talk us through that.
Yeah, it was a super good lap, and the 111 team gave me a great car this morning, so super fortunate for that. And yeah, I made a little bit of a mistake in the last sector, but we still got it, so super happy.
You look cool as a cucumber as well, not even like you've been in there. You've got Roberto Perina starting behind you, heavily experienced driver. How are you feeling about that?
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, this competition's super experienced. You know, you got Manny racing GT3, and Roberto's been in the field for a long time. So, looking forward to it, and you know, I'm loving the opportunity. And thanks to Jimmy John's, Niebuhr, BAE, and my family, it's been amazing. And thanks to Ferrari for giving me this opportunity of a young age to get into the series. So yeah,
Congratulations. Go well later.
thank you so much.
Johnny Kaminsky makes it 4 out of 4. Very much pleasing my OCT. Look at that great car control as well. That's on the limit and just beautifully sliding the rear of the car for extra rotation, but not losing time with that move. Great stuff from Kaminsky. Take a look at the results provided to you by FI8. Johnny Kaminsky with the pole. 4 out of 4 of our drivers in the categories from Shell through to Pirelli have got the same pole as yesterday. Roberto Perina, very close on lap time. He might make it a bit hard for him. Manny Franco, you can't count him out either. Brad Fowler, George Grinsmith further up the order today. David Beaton didn't feature yesterday, could feature today. Look at this, all of the top 8 drivers, Brian Cook, Jonathan Weisman, all within a second. Gray Fowler at 1.5 back, so a little way off the pace there, but it's still going to be a fantastic outing for everybody later on today. That's it then from us here for qualifying. We'll be back at 14:05 Pacific time this afternoon, where you can see the Copper Shell race, and that will be followed by the Trofeo Pirelli encounter as well. Thanks to Nina Jade, Paul and Tony Villander. My name's Andrew Coley. We'll see you in a bit.